Hello, this is another Fix Virus show in my fancy stick bumper music, so that way I don't get any copyrights on me because nobody has copyrighted the sticks clanging together yet. Yet. So fortunately, I'm still good. Well, so I was at the store and I wanted to. I was checking out the 2600 Hacker Quarterly, the latest one. It's uh, volume 42, number one, spring 2025. So on page 57, the article "Cybersecurity Can Be Expensive" was kind of interesting to me, anyway. That's where it was one page. So it talked about the hack of uh, Lewis and Clark College in Portland, Oregon. So in March of 2023, got hacked, or at least they noticed that they got hacked. So I kind of wanted to discuss what happens in a hack, and how can cybersecurity be expensive? What are you going to do when you're hacked? So it seemed to me that this Lewis and Clark College um, hack, it seems like that they did not have enough of an incident response report. Of course, we don't know all the details yet because there's a lawsuit pending, and we're going to discuss. So let's go through the details of how can cybersecurity be expensive. For if when you get hacked, you have to deal with the direct and indirect costs of the breach. So direct costs are your may have to fix computers if they got rebooted, if you need to update them, you need to hire consultants. Indirect costs of the breach, maybe your computers were not up, you have to spend money on other things. You have to hire people, you have to hire consultants. So, secondly, then you have to figure out what exactly happened. You know, how you got to find out what was hacked, because in this case, the family jewels were hacked, or as we say in cybersecurity, all of the personal information of the employees and the students. That is the family jewels. So all of their information, their addresses, maybe payment data. It depends on what they have on file. So it depends on how bad it will be. So that's what you've got to do. You got to find out what was hacked, what was stolen by the hackers. So apparently these hackers, the they're called the Vice Society Cybercrime Group. They go after educational institutions. That's like one of their primary focus. And the reason is because they have they have like an open community. These communities in colleges, they want to be thriving, thinking centers. So they have many open permissions. So they allow you to use computers, maybe more so than others. So therefore, the what happens is, and this is basically what's happened, is that you learn that there isn't as much security at a lot of educational institutions. And unfortunately, Lewis and Clark in Oregon, they got hit with one by these guys, these vice chair people. So okay, so you recovered, you found out what's going on, you paid some forensic experts. Now what? Well, you got to notify it's you are legally bound by the government and many institutions, any other reasons. You've got to tell everybody what happened. We gotta give them a formal statement, kind of like I'm sure everybody has gotten one of those formal. I'm sorry, this and such happened, and then you'll get some kind of a service or something for free. So that's all in the beginning stages, and so maybe you just learn that the notification of the breach has just occurred this April. So it took them this long to get going and figure out what to send. So guess what is coming next? This is what I think that the real reason for this article was. The possible class action lawsuit. And what has to happen is somebody who was affected, one of the employees, felt that there wasn't enough cybersecurity and therefore they wanted to sue. Well, now you have to pay court costs, now you got to pay settlements, other fees. Who knows what you'll pay? So what initially was a bad event, but maybe you have to reboot the computers, you have to fix updates and stuff. Now all kinds of other things. It's a huge mess. It's all bets are off here. It could be millions of dollars. And they have over 1,000 graduate students, and they have a couple of thousand undergrad students. So all those people got affected. And typically they won't get very much money, but the employee, maybe the original employee, who knows? But obviously the lawyers will get money, and that's the whole point, I think, in some of these lawsuits. But anyway, I didn't. So interestingly enough, like I said, I don't think they had much of an incident response because this didn't happen in like a year. The breach notification is supposed to happen within a few months. It took them 2 years to notify of the breach. That means that they had problems. So, what can we do to prevent something like this? Well, I asked, Claude a simple question, which the Claude doesn't have data. It has data up to 2024, so it wouldn't have anything new anyway, but it doesn't matter. These are just basic do's and don'ts. You should have regular security assessments. This is what I do. You should have pen testing. You should identify vulnerabilities before attackers exploit them. As I said, we'll find out exactly what happened in this particular case, which will, probably in the lawsuit and in the years to come, in the months to come, we'll find out more exact data. But in the meantime, you should work on your own incident response plan. You should work on security awareness training. I think that the employees and the students should have that. I think everyone should have that. You should know not to click on, you know, obvious scams, even though it sounds too good to be true. It is too good to be true. Those kinds of things. So, anyway, I just wanted to introduce a couple of things. This 2600 magazine, I've been reading that for many years, since the 90s. So, I wanted to discuss some things, and I also let you know that this is what I do. I create security policies, security assessments. Visit my shop at Oversight Sentry. And as usual, here is the sticks, the bumper music, and I thank you for listening. Like and comment. Let me know what you think. Would you want to hear more stories like this, or of hack stories, or I mean, obviously, I want to. If I'm gonna create more stories like this, I also want to talk about how we can prevent these kinds of things. You gotta stay positive because it can be prevented or at least minimized. Anyways, I appreciate any comments and likes. I will talk to you next time.